And we are live. Well, not actually live, uh, but yeah, it's good to say that we're live just for the fuck of it and adjusting the exposure. We're pretty much done, and uh, sorry for the background noise. It's just me cooking steak at yeah 1 a.m. almost, in order to get massive, just like Devon said. And speaking of Devon, yeah, we need to get massive the way he recommended to do it with like the optical illusion. And fuck, I have a cramp in my trap. Fuck. Anyhow, that's enough for a comedic moment, which is a painful reality for me. But fuck. Uh, yeah, I need some magnesium, I think. So, today I want to just talk to you about something which I find very interesting, and it ties in with many of the things that have been happening lately, and also I've covered those things individually. Fuck, it still hurts. In other videos, but here we go. So, $1 million question. What do Arnold, yes, the Arnold Schwarzenegger, the the same Arnold who had one catchphrase which was not actually related to arm wrestling, but it was somehow related to arm wrestling, and it went on to become a lot more popular than the whole over-the-top movie with Sylvester Stallone, and it's the infamous "Dylan, you son of a bitch," and the iconic clash between him and Carl Weathers. Yeah, see, I got you pushing too many pencils. Anyhow, back to my question, the $1 million question. What do Arnold and Igor Mazurenko and other top guys and top names in arm wrestling, such as Michael and Devon and so many others, Travis and etc. What do all of these guys have in common? There we go. Nearly 3 minutes into the video, and I barely got to shoot the question. So what do all of these guys have in common? Well, let's take a brief look at what Arnold did, and we'll start off from there because he's the only non-arm wrestler in the whole bunch of names that I just put out there. So Arnold, well, he was a very successful bodybuilder who later on became the most popular bodybuilder. He kind of put bodybuilding on the map, and he did like wonders for the sport. But just like at the top of his game, he started branding his own image and marketing. He started marketing his name at an unprecedented level, even by today's standards. No one ever managed to come close to what he did, in my opinion, because he went on to become like this huge movie star and one of the biggest action heroes of all time, if not the. And Also later on, he went into politics. He was governor of California and so on and so forth. So the main takeaway from his ambitions and his journey for our discussion tonight is, or today for you, whatever, you get the idea. Main takeaway here is his ability to brand his own image and to not only just be independent, man, whatever, but to actually revolve the whole world around him and his name and his he kind of turned everything into his favor, not only his strengths but also his weaknesses. You know, not being from the U.S., having that thicker accent and whatever. Everything he used in his advantage. But again, the main point here is how he managed to brand himself and market himself. Now, let's go back to the other guys. First parallel I want to draw right here is with Igor Mazurenko. So, with this guy, like him or hate him, especially if you're one of those guys who, for whatever reason, you hate him, let's look at the following thing. He was able to be like he was an arm wrestler himself. I think even a bodybuilder and whatever, or strength athlete in general, because I'm not sure how much far back his career goes with the old sports that he did, but I saw a lot of pictures of him when he was younger, and he was just buffed and jacked. Jacked as a as a bull. So I guess he dabbled in a lot of sports and stuff like that. So he was a professional arm wrestler himself, and later on, what did he do? Well, he created PAL. And usually there's people who know that Mazurenko was an arm wrestler, but they know about PAL and no other connection to Mazurenko. They have no idea that Igor is the guy behind PAL. And there are guys who know that PAL is being ran by Mazurenko, but they know Igor just as this business guy, without having any idea he was a former athlete himself. And obviously there are the guys who know all of these details. But here's the thing, and that's why I said that like him or hate him, you have to look at what he did. And he did not just make a name for himself in the sport. He took it to a complete different level, and he created a league of himself, by himself, which at the moment is one of the biggest leagues out there. And historically and traditionally, again, like it or hate it, that's besides the point, but PAL is almost as big as WAF. WAL is not even comparable in terms of history and athletes and tiers and stuff like that. They've been running for so many years and whatever. So that's a business model that should be looked at. Why? Because now I'm going into the most recent events, which are all of these things with PAL versus WAL, Michael versus Levon. Then on a completely different side note, people are wondering whether or not WAL is finished, dead, whatever. Athletes complaining about either Igor specifically interdicting his athletes and prohibiting them from participating or taking part in outside events such as Levon pulling Michael and whatever, or even WAL athletes themselves still being under contract and wondering when waiting for their contract to end so that they can become free agents again. All in all, to me, as an objective, outside viewer, without having any positive or negative emotion invested in either of these discussions, whether it's PAL with Igor or WAL with all these athletes and whatever. To me, the general statement is that on one hand, people are bitching and complaining about PAL, but on the other hand, they are bitching and complaining about their own organizations that they're being a part of, or they're not bitching and complaining, but still there's like this pressure that they would want to somehow alleviate and there are a lot of talks recently about athletes not necessarily being under contract and doing their own branding and marketing and whatever, which ties into my opening discussion with Arnold. Here is why I think this is super important. So, I talked about this in one of my previous videos. Go check it out if you want. I talked briefly about the disadvantages that athletes and not only but also referees have when they are under contract and whatever. But here's the thing with Arnold. Arnold, what did he do? Well, he won the Mr. Olympia 7 times and whatever, with or without the controversy of the 1980s. Mr. Olympia with Mike Menzer, but still, he went on, and even after he was completely out of the sport, he was already into like his acting phase, already way into his acting phase. What did he do? He made his own show, league, whatever you want to call it, organization. It's, you guessed it, the Arnold Classic. So his love for the sport did not end with him winning his 7th Olympia. It transcended into something different and carried on with having like a thing of his own, which is, you know, like if Mr. Olympia is like the thing, his is just underneath. And not only this, but actually you could argue that his is quite above from certain points of view, because the Olympia is just for bodybuilding, but the Arnold Classic is for bodybuilding, it's for strength competitions, for so many different events and stuff like that. So it is a lot more, you know, well-rounded event, general. And a lot of you arm wrestlers out there, or strength athletes in general, you're super aware about the Arnold Classic. So, why is this important? Well, we have to look at what Arnold did, and he was like the prime example. I don't want to draw a parallel between him and Igor, like one-on-one, because obviously the success and the name cannot be compared. But Igor, within the arm wrestling community, is sort of like an Arnold, not in terms of achievement, because he was not the GOAT by any means or whatever as a competitor, but look at what he did with the organization. He created one of the biggest organizations ever with the PAL. And going back to Arnold, quite a few years afterwards, other, let's say, top tier athletes started doing the same, not to the same extent, because they don't have like super recurrent things, or they do, but it's not that big. But look at Sean Ray, look at Kevin Levrone, look at all of these other athletes, Dave Palumbo, Jay Cutler, Ronnie Coleman. They have their own lines of everything, from like the usual supplements down to events and expos and shows, prize money here and there, invitationals here and there, some cups bearing their names and stuff like this. So in one way or another, you could assimilate this idea and bring it into the arm wrestling world. Why? Because here's what I wanted to get to. Instead of complaining about Igor having his PAL, and a lot of people don't like his approach and whatever. Again, I'm just looking at it objectively. I have no personal reference point in order for me to say that they're right or wrong. I just acknowledge that there are a lot of complaints, but at the same time, as far as I'm concerned, I cannot have any complaint or whatever, because obviously I'm not in that world. So Why hate on someone just because someone else is hating on him? Maybe they're right, maybe they're not. Doesn't really matter. I just want to keep myself objective. So back to my train of thought that I so often deviate from. He has PAL. Okay, that's a done deal. Rather than complaining about the PAL, look at what you guys are doing in terms of, I mean, especially in terms of how big you guys are. You guys are bigger than Igor ever was, probably as a competitor. Not probably, certainly. So guys like Travis, guys like Michael, guys like Devon, guys like, I don't know, so many guys out there. Why don't you try to somehow like focus or channel this energy, this desire to have things change in your advantage, to have things your way? Why not channel this thing into, who knows, possibly, if you're able to, come up with your own organization. It doesn't have to be WAL. It doesn't have to be always WAL or WAF or WAL with UAL or EAL or WAF or PL, whatever. So you're, I mean, not only are you free to do this, but what I'm actually trying to convey here is that I think it would be such a great opportunity for the sport to have leagues created by the top athletes that are at the moment, and not only, also you were the top guys in the past, and you'll still continue being the top guys for a number of years. Why not have your own leagues with your own rules, with your own grasp on the contracts, or freedom of not having any contracts and just organizing incredible events with shitloads of money if you can gather the sponsors and make it like this free world of top dogs coming in and pulling and stuff like that. Why not try to do something like that? Or, for example, it doesn't have to be, for every top dog out there, one independent league. Sorry, I just need for 2 seconds to stop the steak, because otherwise I'll be having my steak exactly the same way Devon has his pancakes, which I have no doubt are getting you massive again. Trying his trick, hopefully this time without having cramps. Anyhow, what I wanted to say was it doesn't necessarily have to be like one league for every top guy out there. Quite a few of you guys can band together, especially if you're very like-minded, and you can just create your own league. The league of whatever. I mean, you can call it however you want to. I'm pretty sure you can come up with a super catchy name. And like I said, you can probably offer things that haven't been offered before, like having a free and open league, whereas you're not legally binding anyone by contract to belong to your league, or you can still continue doing something similar. But I started from the fact that everyone now wants to be self-marketed and self-advertised and free of any such legal obligations. So that's why I said, if there's a few of you like-minded who are opting for going down this route, why not just take it to the next level and actually I mean, like the saying goes, if you want to have something done the right way, you have to do it yourself. So probably you'll never be able to change the way in which people think and to change their mindset or perspective, but you can make your own bubble, and then you can begin expanding it and growing it. And I'm pretty sure that in no time you guys will probably have your league at the same level with any other league out there in the present time, or who knows, even you might surpass them all. Because again, you have the leverage of having all of these big, huge names backing it up. So imagine having, imagine like the love child of Devon's mindset combined with Michael's mindset, for example. Because as much as we think that they're kind of like at opposite poles at times, from on different on certain subjects, I think they're quite alike, especially with now both of them gravitating towards this King's move. They're pretty much sharing the same camp when it comes to this never-ending discussion. By the way, I'll be having this my next video will be exactly about this, because I've seen that the Engin Terzi versus Devon Larratt controversy reignite again. But yeah, that's for the next video. So anyway, I'll wrap it up right here. Let me know what you guys think about this whole idea, how taking Arnold's model and seeing already like a first interpretation of it within the arm wrestling world through Igor Mazurenko's PAL. Don't you think that we could probably extend this and sort of like decrease the monopoly of all of these organizations and just have like a more leveled out field in terms of possibilities for athletes? I don't know. I'm just asking. This is just an open question. I have no. Well, not only do I not have any incentive behind it, obviously, but I also have no right or wrong viewpoint on this thing, because obviously it's going to be good for so many reasons. Probably it's also going to be not so good for other reasons that are still a bit unknown to me. I'd probably need to spend quite a bit more time thinking about it, or even discussing with those people in order to understand if something like this would be able to happen. If this would be feasible by any means, or there are way bigger blockers that I'm just not aware of, or whatever. But without any of that happening, because I'm not sure I'll be able to pick their brains anytime soon this century. Let me know what you guys think, the viewers. Let me know in the comment section down below. Like the video if you did, dislike it, but do it twice if you did dislike it, and like, share, subscribe, hate, troll, whatever. Just make sure you engage, and make sure you keep it friendly, civilized, and polite, so that the YouTube police does not chase you down the road, river. I'm a bit foggy, and I'll blame it on the lack of nutrients in my system that are waiting for me to attend to their needs right after this video. And also I'll blame it on the hour and pretty much fucked up condition that I have, which is like me just being myself. Let me know what you guys think, and until next time, I'm out, and I'll try to close this video from the first attempt.